Have you ever wished you could eavesdrop on a conversation with a millionaire? My name is Michelle Thompson. I'm a retired project controls engineer and business professor, and that's exactly what I'm going to do in this podcast. I get to ask the questions that everyone else wishes they could. I'm going to find out exactly how they were able to build their empires through automation and outsourcing. And I'm going to break it down in a way that helps you build your business to run on autopilot. Don't miss out on Automate to Dominate. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Automate to Dominate. Today's guest is Spencer Mecham, who is the owner of Builderpreneur. So Spencer's an online marketer with passion for passive income. So he's got all kinds of training on how to make money with affiliate marketing, email marketing, blogging, YouTube, Pinterest, you name it. He's won a ton of cars. In fact, the one is like that crazy Toyota, right? So I'm going to have you talk about that. But
yeah,
that thing's like, that's like a serious mudding machine you got right there. So, but if you go check out Spencer, he's had like tons of awards for being a top affiliate marketer. So thank you so much for taking the time to be on our show today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited.
So can you give us just a little bit of a background on how you got where you are today?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can. So affiliate marketing was never on my radar till probably 3 or 4 years ago. But making money online has been on my radar for like 10 years now. So I got started, my origin story was Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And I always say up until that point, like I had two routes in life. You go to college and then you go to like college 2.0 for a master's and you like do all that stuff, and then you get a good job, or you're living in a dumpster. Like those are your routes in life, and that's how my head was trained to think through things. And so when I read his book,
right? It's like it's ingrained into us.
Yeah. And I just didn't, my parents aren't entrepreneurs or anything like that. I don't really have any in my direct family or friends. And so like, it's just a world that didn't exist to me, and so I read that book and then, just all these doors suddenly open, like, holy cow, like this is, this connects with me. I love this. And so he doesn't, affiliate marketing is not really his thing, but he talked a lot about real estate and a lot about the stock market and things of like that nature. And so I got into like that world for a while, kind of like the investment world and things. And I was pretty terrible at it, to be frank. Like didn't have a lot of money to lose, but I lost what I had, and then somewhere in there, I get graduated and got a job at like a digital marketing agency and just kind of trucking on doing that stuff. And this like coworker is talking to me one day, and we're just talking about SEO and stuff. And he pulls up this website that he's like been building for like a few years. He's like, hey, if this interests you, he's like, I can't remember the number, but it was like, I'm making a full-time income on this website. He's like, all I do is I review vacuum cleaners. I like buy a vacuum cleaner and I review it. And it's called, I can't remember what it's called. Some stupid name. It was a stupid, ugly website. I was like, what? and so that was it. It was like, holy cow, like this is way easier than stock market stuff, and I don't need $1 million to make $1 million this way. So that was where I got into it. And to shorten the story a lot, spent a year just trying and failing and making absolutely nothing. And then somewhere in my second year, like some things clicked, some strategies worked, and everything just kind of blew up from there. And that was probably maybe 3 years ago now. So, and the rest is history.
Right. That's funny that you said about the stock market, right? Because have you ever played Kiyosaki's game Cash Flow?
Yeah.
Right. And so you do it in the game and you're like, oh, I got this, right?
Oh, great.
This is awesome. You go out in the real world and you're like,
yeah, it teaches you good principles, but yeah, it's not realistic.
Right. I was like, I'm going to rock this. Like we used to actually have a group that like got together like once a month and played Cash Flow. It was hilarious.
Oh, really? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But great principles to teach your kids, but doesn't exactly work like the game.
Doesn't translate to reality super well.
Not quite as much. So everybody always talks about affiliate marketing. What's the difference between regular affiliate marketing and like a recurring affiliate program?
Yeah, so like everything I try to promote, I shoot for recurring. So regular affiliate marketing, like the one you kind of hear about if you like just kind of Google like, hey, how does affiliate marketing work? You're always going to run up to somebody who's going to show you Amazon affiliate marketing. Like, oh, this is so easy. You should promote this, you know? And the difference is like so many different things, but one, Amazon's going to pay you like 4 to 10%, you know, 10% being like the top end you could possibly make. Secondly, that they're going to pay you one time, right? And then, well, send us some more customers, you know, like we're hungry for more and or you don't make any more money. And recurring, specifically in like the software world where I try to focus, or the digital, you know, anything digital really, percentages go way beyond 4, you know, to 10%. There you're hitting 30, 40, or 50%. These places will, or these companies will offer you in commissions. And then you add that recurring factor to it where, hey, as long as you send us a customer and that customer stays with us, you'll continue to make your percentage off them, you know, forever. And so if you find a good company that like really does good at like retaining their customers that you send their way, you can do crazy things, right? Like you don't have to be like a crazy hustler. You just need to bring in, you know, 5 people a month, and then 5 people the next month. And now you're sitting at 10, you know, maybe you lose a few, so you're at 8, but then you bring in 5 again and you're at 13. And it's this building, like you're building assets, right? That bring in money for a long time. And so I always promote those because I just like passive income, right? Is my big thing. And most affiliate marketers are looking for some form of passive income. And the best way to achieve that is to have a program that you can work your butt off for a few years, which hopefully most of us are willing to do. And then you can really start riding for a few years, you know, and those commissions just keep coming in because the company's awesome. The customers are happy with the company, and all you had to do was open the door and let them in, and then you're done. So anyway, that's the difference.
Yeah. And it just piggybacking off what you said. So I just interviewed Kevin Holloman, and he actually just took 6 months off and just decided, yeah, I'm not doing anything. and it just kept rolling in. He had a website or two that kind of saw a dip, you know, because he didn't pay attention to it, but he literally just walked away for 6 months and the income really didn't dip at all. It just kept coming. So
I have not done that yet, but that sounds awesome. I could, but I haven't.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I am nowhere near there, but I'm gonna get there.
You're getting there.
Yeah. So I know you know a ton of information. In fact, we met like a year ago on a completely different topic at Greg's course, but Greg Jeffries. Sorry, I should probably tell people that because they don't know that. But I'm hoping though today we can like really focus on the passive affiliate income and like how you've automated that. So I kind of want to dive deep into that. Does that work for you?
Let's do it.
Awesome. So you say on your website, one of the best parts of affiliate marketing is generating recurring revenue from your audience. How exactly are you able to do that?
So there's, I had 3 ways. There's 3 ways you can generate recurring income from your audience. The first way is you can have a passive traffic source. So you were talking about like Kevin Holloman and Greg Jeffries. Those guys have blogs, right? And blogs when you create content on a blog, it tends to last for a very long time. So whether it's a blog or YouTube or Pinterest, pretty much anything search engine related, you put content out there and usually it doesn't like show up immediately, right? Like you don't just put a blog post out there and like, hey, I'm ranking number 1. Like it takes time and it builds up there. But once you get there, it doesn't just like pop up, you know, for a day or 2 and then disappear. It hangs out for years if it's a good post or a good YouTube video. And you contrast that with the method like a lot of affiliates try to use, just like Facebook and Instagram and things like that, which make money. But when you make a post on Instagram, like within hours, it's gone, right? Like it's totally gone. No one's going to see it. You've got to feed that beast again. And so if you have a passive traffic source, which typically means a search engine, then you can have non-recurring affiliate programs even that you're promoting it, but you're still sending people through every day and not in automation. So that's the first way. The second way is recurring affiliate program. So you could use Facebook or Instagram or any one of those to send people into a recurring affiliate program, and then you're making recurring commissions for a long time after that. And then the third way is email automation. So I talk a ton about this, but if you build out an email sequence, right, an automatic email sequence that sends emails for 6 months to a year, then you can do a bunch of work up front, get a lot of leads, and then step back just like Kevin did, right? And those people get an email from you every 2 days that either teaches or sells them something, and your money just keeps coming in to them. You're still just working every day and doing your thing, and you can be selling it a recurring or regular commission products to them and still be making money. So those are the 3 ways that you can turn an affiliate business into a passive income model.
Okay, so I'm going to go on a little bit of a rabbit trail and then I'll bring us back. But one of the things that people always seem to be asking is, which email service provider? Do I go with ActiveCampaign? Do I go with Drip? Do I go with ConvertKit? Like those seem to be like the top 3. Which one did you pick and why, and which one's good for which person?
Okay, so I picked ActiveCampaign because it's the best. There's no one even comes close to what ActiveCampaign has done with their autoresponder.
Now, why? Because of automation?
Yeah, one piece automation, second piece reliability, deliverability, ability to do anything you want. So sometimes you're just kind of like, oh, I want to try this, or I want to do this, or like, oh crap, I messed up and I need to go in and fix this, And I wonder if, the autoresponder has the capability for me to do that with this small segment of my audience or something. And just little things like that. If you've been in email marketing for a few years, you know what I'm talking about. Just things come up and you want to do different things. And every time I'm like, okay, I don't know if I can do that. And I log into ActiveCampaign and there it is. They've just put in a billion options, but they've done it in a simplistic way so that you don't have to. It's not like, oh, I don't know what to do. It's just built really smart. Whoever coded and built ActiveCampaign is so smart. I'd love to hire them. And then the other ones aren't bad. They just have nowhere near the features, nowhere near the possibilities. And then some of them I've just noticed glitches and stuff like that. I've never hit a glitch in ActiveCampaign. So that all being said, ActiveCampaign wasn't built for affiliate marketers. It was built, from what I understand, it's built for local dentists and things like that, which is crazy because dentists don't need 99% of those features and don't know how to use them.
Right.
But anyway, so they don't love make money online schemes, as they call them, right, or affiliate marketing stuff, and so a lot of affiliate marketers get shut down with them. I've done just fine. Really the reason ActiveCampaign is so picky is because they have the best deliverability of any autoresponder I've ever used. And they're protecting that, right? If all these people are using their platform and they're sending out crap, then ActiveCampaign's deliverability goes down. So they're super picky about that. So I've seen lots of affiliate marketers do just fine on ActiveCampaign, and the way they do it is they send good stuff, right? They get high open rates. They're not super spammy. They're not linking to crazy spam stuff. They're doing affiliate stuff, but they're doing it in a good way, right? They're actually benefiting their audience. And they're doing things the right way, and so ActiveCampaign kind of turns a blind eye, I guess. So yeah, I always tell people, give it a shot, sign up, and if you do, you do something wrong and they ban you can move on to the other one without that big of a hiccup. Because usually you'll get banned in the first day. They're like, boom, we hate you, and you're gone. They usually don't 3 weeks or months in. They're like, oh hey, we were just tinkering around and saw your account and got rid of it. So anyway, that's that rabbit hole.
So the key would be, though, actually providing value for your audience.
Yeah, because if your audience is opening the emails and they're clicking through the links and stuff like that, ActiveCampaign has no problem with that, right? But if you're getting 2 or 3% open rates and you're getting a lot of audience members clicking spam and things like that, and you're triggering Google's spam filters a lot, then ActiveCampaign is going to you're going to pop onto their radar, and then they're going to start looking at your emails and they're going to be like, oh hey, this guy's just all in affiliate marketing. So I've kept my open rates between 17 and 30% on almost every email I've ever sent. And so I'm really not on anyone's radar, right? They're happy with me, I'm happy with them.
Yeah. So other than an email list, how are you driving traffic to your affiliate links?
So many ways. So the big ones are I love free traffic. I love it. I love free recurring traffic. So YouTube and my Facebook group and Pinterest are probably my biggest ones, and my blog is kind of slowly catching up to them all this year.
Now, how are you using Pinterest? That's interesting.
Yeah, so Pinterest, I'm doing both. I'm doing direct affiliate linking, just straight up, and that one hasn't worked incredible for me yet. But then I'm sending them to my blog where I'm capturing their leads, or I'm sending them to free courses and things like that, and capturing them and sending them from there. Okay. So Pinterest doesn't. YouTube is probably my top. Facebook group next, and then Pinterest and the blog are it's kind of hard to tell because Pinterest is sending a lot of people to the blog.
Yeah, and for those of you who aren't familiar, Spencer's Facebook group is Automation Nation, and I would highly recommend that you join that group. There is just a crazy amount of value in that group, and everybody is like super cool. Like if you have a question, they're going to help you. Every once in a while you'll get slapped around for asking a dumb question, but not very often.
Yeah, we've really tried to work, like that's been, because every group kind of has a vibe, and that's been my big goal with my vibe is like, I really want kindness, because people
Yeah.
are really cruel online, and like, so we boot people all the time, like, hey, you had no reason to go just attack that guy, you're gone,
Yeah,
so.
that's actually what I was going to say next is, if that does happen, Spencer's always there to be like, hey, this is the answer you were looking for. It wasn't a dumb question. And then slap the other guy on the wrist. So, yeah. So in addition to, the YouTube, you have a blog post. Like how many blog posts do you think you have on Builderpreneur right now?
So we just like went crazy on it in the last like 6 months. But we probably have 75.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And they're all like, I'd done probably like 5 before then. Like I was more focused on my YouTube channel. And then once my YouTube channel kind of like just got into a really good rhythm, we moved on to the blog. But yeah, we're putting out probably 2 or 3 pieces of content a week right now. And,
Nice.
and it's just starting to kind of like grow.
So how'd you pick your keywords?
Lots and lots of research.
He's like, I'm not telling you that.
Yeah. No, I'm happy to tell. I use Ahrefs. I don't know if you've used Ahrefs before.
It just seems complicated to me. I don't know.
Oh man, I mean,
I end up using I use Longtail Pro usually.
Okay, I've used that. So Ahrefs is like the active campaign of the keyword world. The way they let you see and sort and filter your data is just insane, right? So I can go, hey, affiliate marketing, and pull up all the affiliate marketing, keywords and related keywords. Then I can say, hey, I only want ones that are like, fairly easy to rank for, and it can sort down to those. And I can say, okay, I only want ones that are long tail, 3 words or more, and it can sort down to those. And I can say, hey, they have to include this keyword, the word passive, right? So I can just build this like exactly like who is my audience and what is the easiest possible way to get into them, and then I can target those keywords first. So I use all those filters I just talked about.
The being able to filter out the long tails, 3 words or more would be amazingly helpful, because right now I'm just manually going through and it's super annoying.
Yeah, it's wild to they just have a ton of data, and they've built it in a way, and that's probably why it's confusing to a new person, right? Is they built it in a way that you can view the data in any way you want, but that ends up leaving a lot of options.
Yeah. So I'll have to hit you up for your YouTube video on how to use Ahrefs.
I need to do a train. Now that you're saying that, I'm like, yeah, it is confusing. There's like 40 different buttons on this side and like 30 more going this way, like that's a lot of options.
And I feel like I just popped into the Adobe Illustrator of the
exactly.
world of the oh gosh, sorry, long tail keyword world. Yeah. There we go. Thank you. Yeah. But you have a blog post on there that I want to point everybody to that is, best affiliate programs for recurring income. Now I know it's for 2019 and I'm sure you're going to update it, but how'd you pick those companies?
The recurring companies? So first thing I did was just pick all the companies that I pick, that I promote, and there's probably 7 or 8 of those that I promote. And then honestly, it's just, it's the way that like 90% of blog posts are written. I go through and read 20 other people's posts, right? And I'm looking for a few specific things, right? I'm looking for high percentages, high ticket, and then I'll go look at like their product reviews. And if the product's got, 2 out of 5 stars, well, I don't care that they're 50% commissions, 2 out of 5 stars means I'm losing 60% of the people I refer to them. But if it's got 5 out of 5 stars, right, it means like, hey, most people are just going to stay that come into this company. And so that's kind of what I'm looking for, is that balance of like high commissions and quality. And when I find one like that, I throw it on there, and then I usually a lot of times I'll promote it myself if it's got that perfect balance.
So, what are some, other than the 2 stars, what are some red flags that would keep you from promoting a company?
So the big one for me, honestly, is how related it is to my audience. So, in the last year or so, things like my business has really gotten big, and so I get hit up a lot, like, oh, please, can you promote this? Can you promote this? And not bad. I'm like, they might apply to like some of my audience, but like, if it only applies to 10% of your audience or something, right, then you start to damage your relationship with your audience. Like, hey, we're going live to talk about this, and 90% of them don't care, right? Well, the next time you see them going live, they're not going to open the email, or they're not going to even like read the post. And so like I've really started to hone in, like, does this apply to like a vast majority of my audience? And then if it does, then I go on to quality. Okay, does this, course, or does this software, does it have like good results, good reviews, everyone loves it? Okay, so not only does this apply to a lot of my audience, but if the people that end up buying are going to be happy with it, they're not going to, I'm not going to damage my relationship by promoting this. And then once all that's been said and done, I'll usually test it. So something I'll try to do a lot of times is, this is easier once you have an audience and like they're actually trying to get you to promote it instead of like the other way around, but I'll reach out to them and say like, hey, can me and you get together and you kind of help me through the first round of this, So for example, if it's an affiliate marketing course, I'll say, hey, you come in, you've got some different methods than I do, let's do a day together. You show me, we make $300 or $400, and then I can go, when we go to live and go to promote, I can say, hey, he spent 24 hours with me and I made my money back. So it's like, I can really, really vouch for it. So I try to do that now, because it really, really helps. And I've had people be like, no, like my course can't make, like, they seem really uncomfortable with that idea. And then I get the general idea, like, okay, you're not really that confident in what you do, like,
right.
You kind of sound like you're like, oh crap, has to work. Anyway, that's really all I'm looking for, is like, does it really apply to them? Can it really help them? And then does it have, is it profitable for me? Because I don't do a lot of pushes anymore. I'll do one every 2 months or something like that. So is it profitable for me? Oh, and then the last thing is like, I'll look at either they have to prove that like, hey, I've done this in other groups or other audiences and it's been, we've had really good results, or I've done previous products in other audiences and had really good results. So a lot of times people reach out to me and they've got a brand new product. They're kind of brand new to all this, right? But like, hey, can we do this live, this webinar? And I'm like, well, I don't do these very often. And you have no track record, right, to show me that that we're going to go live and you're going to get results. You've got your system in place. You know what you're talking about, basically. Because in the beginning, I did a lot of that stuff. We'd go live, I'd be all excited, and then nothing would come in terms of sales. And I go look, I'm like, oh, they didn't have email follow-ups in place. They didn't have retargeting in place. They didn't, the webinar wasn't built right, and so it didn't sell, and they didn't have experience with that. So I'm kind of looking for all that stuff now as well.
Okay, that's hugely valuable. Who would you say is your avatar? Who's like the perfect client that you tend to attract without even trying, or with trying on purpose a lot?
So it's like it's family people typically. So like affiliate marketer, they're working a job. Their reasoning is typically their family. They've got kids and things like that, and they want passive income to be able to spend more time with their kids, take their kids on, take their kids traveling and things like that. Those people gravitate to me, I guess, just because they are me, right? And so we're in the same boat, and that works really, really well. I don't do great with people that are like, I don't do as well with younger, like college age students and stuff like that. Like they're in my audience still, you kind of you'll always like have audiences outside of your primary, but they don't gravitate to me quite as much just because they're in a different place. Their reasonings are different, their motivations and things like that are different than mine are. And so they don't like instantly gravitate to me.
So it brings up a really good point, right? So you are married, have several children. How did you have the guts to say, this is it, I'm going to make affiliate marketing work, and, walk away from the job?
I didn't. I worked side by side for like 2 years until I had a system in place that was bringing me in a full-time income, and I had a 6-month savings, and then I pulled away. So I wasn't one of those like gutsy, like I'm going to make it work and like life is going to force me into this success, So yeah, I did side hustle stuff, recording YouTube videos at 2 a.m. in a basement and things like that for a long time to get there.
Okay, so you brought up YouTube, and you're like really, really good at YouTube. So again, if you guys haven't checked out Spencer's YouTube channel, go do that. But how have you been able to leverage that platform to get tons of free organic traffic?
So yeah, YouTube's been like a growth thing too. Like if you go back, it's fun to go back and watch my first videos, my last videos, and like, wow, like everything is so different. Is this even the same person, same company? So I use YouTube for two things. One, I'll do like just direct reviews. So like I'll take all these products that I'm talking about and just do straight like reviews or like how to use these products or demos or things like that. And all this, you capture the sale pretty quick. They watch the video, they click the link in the description, they're off. You're kind of done, out of the picture. But probably the more profitable way I've used YouTube is to generate leads. So I talked about an email automation. So my YouTube channel, most of my videos link to my free courses on my website. Each of those has a landing page, and I have a free course for every category that I'll put out content about. So I'll put out content about email marketing. I'll refer them to a free course about email marketing. I'll put out content about affiliate marketing, or refer them to a free course about affiliate marketing. Like that's how I do that. They put in their information, and then so the way it works on my end, I have 2 email automations that run, one for people that are affiliate marketers and one that aren't. It's kind of how I've built my audience out. Like they're online marketers, but affiliate marketing is not their thing, right? So those guys have a more generic email sequence, and it sells them things, things like active campaign and softwares and lots of trainings on just, how to drive traffic and Facebook leads and things like that. Then the affiliate marketers get much more like specific, like, free courses, free trainings on all kinds of different affiliate strategies and stuff like that. And their emails tend to do a lot better, get higher open rates and things like that, just because they're a much more niche audience. But half my leads come that aren't interested in affiliate marketing because of the content I put out. And so it just makes sense to do something with them. And so, they go through that automation, and that's where a lot of my money comes in. Is I think my affiliate sequence is like a year long now, right? So I got a lead 6 months ago, and an email went out automatically today that sold them something, and hopefully they bought it. And so that's the passive income lead generation side of YouTube. And the cool thing is, right, that YouTube video that brought them in a year ago also brought in a new lead today. So now in 6 months, that lead's going to get that email, right? So it's doubling up. It's almost the trifecta, right? I've got YouTube generating leads in automation. I've got emails going out in automation, and then they're promoting recurring products in automation. So it's this real, it really explodes fast as those each take off individually.
Yeah, which is a beautiful thing.
It's so cool.
So if you had somebody who was just starting out and wanted to create a YouTube channel, right? Where would you send them to learn how to do it correctly?
I would send them to my course.
Okay, so give us the link.
There's the link here. I'll have you put a link down, right?
Yep.
There'll be a link down below or somewhere, I assume. Anyway.
Yeah, we'll keep it in the show notes.
Okay, so click that link, and the course. So YouTube, the cool thing about that course is like YouTube is like a tiny piece of it. Like, and that's not to say the YouTube section is small and like insignificant. Like, it's just there's so much that the course teaches. So the course has like 25 modules on email marketing. It's got 20 modules on YouTube. And I think the cool thing about my course that kind of differentiates it from a lot of the other people selling courses is it focuses on channels with like 20 subs, right? Like day one, hey, my channel needs to take off. And a lot of these other courses, they focus like, okay, you've got this channel, and the strategies that they're teaching really don't work great for a channel with 0 subscribers, right? Like you need a little momentum, and then these channels, the stuff they teach will take off. And mine gives you a little more like, hey, here's like what some of these black hat people are doing to get their channels going, and I've done this with 2 or 3 channels now from 0 going on. And so I focus on that like 0 to 500 point. And then a lot of the strategies still continue to work, but I give them some like.
That's interesting. I would not have pegged you as the black hat guy at all.
I am in some ways, yeah. Like just because. So what I basically teach is, hey, you've got 0 subscribers in your channel right now, right? You can start putting out content, and it'll slowly build up, or you can use some of these like. Basically, what I say is it's unethical to trick people, but it's totally ethical to trick an algorithm, right? Like, so if this is just to trick a YouTube algorithm, to me, there's nothing unethical about that, but everyone has their own points, obviously. But anyway, so yeah, I use a lot of methods, and I say, hey, these are risky. I say it in the course, like these are risky methods that I use, but they've worked on 3 or 4 channels. I've never had any issues getting shut down with these. And, so I kind of give people the decision, like you can go the totally safe route, or you can say, hey, I've got nothing to lose right now. I'm going to go all in on these like black hat methods. Anyway, so that's kind of a little piece that I teach in my YouTube course. I think most people fail to talk about.
So you said your course. Now you have a ton of courses out there, right? And
Oh yeah.
and a lot of them are free courses. But were you talking about the free courses, or were you talking about Affiliate Secrets 2.0?
So it's Secrets 2.0. Yeah. So I've got 5 or 6 free courses that are like, hey, I'm a beginner. I may not even be sure that this is for me. How do I get started? And they're still like 10, 15 videos long, each one of them. And they, screen sharing my business. But then Affiliate Secrets is like my baby. It's like what I poured everything into, months and months and months of everything. It's definitely a no holds barred, like, stuff that I like was terrified to share, and put it in there anyway. So it's got some really cool stuff in it.
Yeah, and so for those of you listening, that is pretty much the go-to course on affiliate marketing. So tell us what is all in, Affiliate Secrets 2.0. Like, what's all going to cover?
Okay, so it's kind of the way it ended up being built is almost 2 full separate courses. One is I teach you to set up an affiliate marketing system. So driving traffic doesn't make sense until you have a conversion system in place, right? You've got the email marketing and you've got landing pages and lead magnets and everything built so that, hey, I can drive traffic, and I know that a large chunk of that traffic is going to convert into leads, and a large chunk of those leads is going to convert into sales either up front or in automation down the road. So a lot of what I teach is I have a whole course on that. Like, this is to set up your affiliate system, and then I have a whole other course on, and this is how we push traffic into it, right? You can pick any of these methods, whatever works best for you, whatever you're most comfortable with, or whatever your niche is, it might be different. And now you're just going to pump traffic into your system that you've already set up. And so, and each one of those has a lot of content. But yeah, that's the idea behind it.
Is that where you go into, like, I know you have a course, and I apologize for not knowing the name of it. I heard it from a colleague of mine, Jet, who took your course, and you basically taught him how to do Facebook ads like killer, like how to like basically kill the competition. Is that
AdWords ads is the one he's talking about. I know.
What's
Jet,
it?
AdWords ads, like Google ads was the one I think Jet killed it with.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the traffic section, right? So I teach Google ads because that's something I'm really good at and really comfortable with. I teach YouTube because I'm good at that and I'm comfortable with it. And then basically I went out and said, hey, like, I get Pinterest, but I'm not like a master of Pinterest. So I went and found someone that had, millions of Pinterest followers and said, you build my pin, you show them how to send traffic with Pinterest. I've already taught them how to create the system. You just need to show them how to drive traffic, right? How to build up a Pinterest account and send traffic. So she taught that, and then I did the same thing with Quora. Found a guy that knew Quora, found a guy that knew Instagram, found a guy that knew Facebook ads, because those are all things that I'm like wishy-washy in, right? Like, I'm not a master of, and so that's kind of how the course is built. The traffic section teaches 6, 7, maybe 8 different traffic methods that you can pick and go all in on.
So when you say Quora, you mean Quora.com, right? Is that the Quora?
Yeah, there's a section of Quora in there. Yeah, and I've gotten a lot better with Quora since the course section. Like, I took my own course that I paid the guy to build and then applied it, and I'm up to like tens of thousands of views and stuff on Quora.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been crazy helpful. Some of the guys are like big names now too. Like the girl that does Pinterest, right? She runs the Pinterest account now on like some huge Pinterest accounts, and she didn't back then. So I kind of found it was cool. I found these people that were like just in that takeoff phase and had them teach. And at this point, right, they're probably doing their own courses and stuff, and they're not going to like be willing to like just, take a couple $1,000 to add a course there. But they all did at that time. The guy that does Facebook groups, his name's Johnny West, and his like Facebook group training now he's like 7 or 8 figures through a Facebook group.
Wow.
But yeah, I've got his whole training and how he did it built into Affiliate Secrets with the rights, unlimited rights to it. So it's really cool.
Yeah. And if you guys didn't catch it, I just want to reiterate it again. Like, this is the step-by-step, build this before you do this, or you're wasting your money or you're wasting your time. And that's the super powerful part of Affiliate Secrets, is that you have to have those systems working in the background seamlessly before you try to, like you said, turn on the traffic or do the webinar. Because if you don't have those back-end systems, you're basically just squandering leads, right? Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what would you say is the biggest problem that you've run into in affiliate marketing?
I've got so many problems. And the problems today are so different from the problems in the beginning, you know. um, you get shut down a lot. So like, it's really hard. Like I've lost YouTube accounts, Facebook accounts, Instagram accounts, you know, like, um, in the beginning, it's because I didn't know what I was doing and I was doing things that I shouldn't, you know, but then down the road, like you'll just get an email from Facebook and they're like, hey, we shut down your account, you know, and you're like, I don't understand why, like, but they just did. And you can't, you know, unless you're like a huge player, you have no one to talk to. They just ignore you. So I've lost, and you know, even just like 2 weeks ago, I got what's called a strike on a YouTube account. You get 3 strikes and your YouTube account gets shut down. And it was a strike for linking to vidIQ, which is like a YouTube approved.
Seriously?
Yeah. And I reached out to vidIQ and they're like, yeah, a bunch of our affiliates all got strikes. No one knows why. Like you reach out to YouTube and they ignore you. You know, it's really the craziest thing. And that's probably been the hardest thing, is just like, you kind of, you have this sense of like not total control. And you know, and that's why that email list is so important. But even then, you know, like to lose my YouTube account where it's generating, you know, 30, 40 leads a day would be a huge negative to my business.
Right. So maybe this is possible, but I'm guessing not. I mean, there's this huge monster that you built, right? Like one step at a time, you know, and over years
Yeah.
it turns into this beautiful thing. But, you know,
Monster.
at this monster, this beautiful monster,
Yeah.
but are you still doing everything yourself, or are you handing stuff off to other people? Like, you know, are you still doing your own keyword research? What are you handing off?
Yeah, so bits and pieces of stuff. Like there's some stuff that I just don't. Well, one, it's hard for me because a lot of the way I make my income is teaching things, right? So I try not to hand off things that are like that are changing and things, because if I'm going to teach that in a year, I need to understand it. You know, I can't be like, I barely get it. I just hand it off to my employee, which I think a lot of the big people, right? Like they're at that phase where I think it's hard to buy their courses because they kind of give you big picture stuff because that's all they know. You know, they've got team members doing the detailed stuff. So but anyway, so I hand off, like what I try to do is like master something and then hand it off. So like YouTube, I mastered my system. Basically, after I film a video, I've got like a big system of things I do, you know. And once I had where I felt really comfortable with it, I was doing it over and over and over again. It was working every single time. Then I handed that off to a VA. But like I still make my own thumbnails because thumbnails is like a huge piece of YouTube. And I like doing tests and learning. And you know, if I want to teach thumbnails in 6 months, well, I need to be the one doing my own thumbnails.
So are you split testing thumbnails on a YouTube video?
I'm not split testing on individual videos because YouTube is so obnoxious and doesn't let you internally.
Okay.
But
I was like, how are you doing that? I want to know.
but so there is a way. It's just, but it's awkward and funky, and I just don't love it. It's like, yeah, it's just it's with using TubeBuddy you can do it, but it doesn't work great. And YouTube has claimed they're gonna release this year an option for it, so I'm kind of just waiting. But yeah, like, so I'll batch film 10 videos, right? I'll hand it to my employee. They go through, they do all the editing, they do get it all up and scheduled. They do the, you know, descriptions, all that stuff, all the SEO stuff. And then it's up, and then I can just go in once a week and I'll make a thumbnail and write an email. Emails is another thing I don't ever hire out because I try to never hire out my voice, right? Like me, like I've never met anybody that can be me, you know, and if I could find someone, that'd be great. But so like commenting and all that, messaging people, anything where people think they're talking to me or I'm the one talking to them, I always try to be real with that and actually make that the actual case. It doesn't have to be that way. Like people, obviously, like Russell Brunson and big names, you know, they're not writing their own emails, but that's what I do.
I actually had one of my mentors, Ian. You met him, Ian Pribble.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got to the point where it was so big that he really physically couldn't answer them all, but he had the same dilemma. He wanted people to know, hey, this is, you know, and so I thought this was pretty ingenious. What he did was he had somebody go through and basically summarize everything for the day, and then he'd do short little audio clips, and then he'd have her go back and say, on the actual Facebook post, you know, translated by Yumi, Ian says, blah, 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 which loses some of the personalization, right?
Yeah.
But it was to the point where he couldn't answer everybody. So he had to come up with something. And so that was his solution, where he still got to physically answer everybody. And it was his voice. It was just somebody summarized it and then typed it for him, which was nice.
Yeah. And I might get there. Like I'm kind of at that in-between point, right? Like I'm not tiny, I'm not huge. but I'm sure, yeah, you get to the point if you keep growing, you eventually hit a spot where you just can't. And I don't know if I want to get to that point. And then part of it is a choice. Like, do you want to grow to that point to where you're that big and you've got 10 employees? And I've always said, like, that was never my goal. It might morph into that. But like right now, I really like where I'm at. I like being the size that I'm at, and
less headaches.
Yeah, less headaches. I don't, I've got a few employees, but I know them all personally, and they're contractors and things like that. And you get to a certain point where that all goes away, and it becomes much more legitimate, and the stresses go up. And so anyway, who knows if I'll get to that point.
So what would you say to somebody who says, I've tried that affiliate marketing crap before, it doesn't work?
Well, it does. It obviously works. So I would try to kindly tell them to open their eyes, because it's working for, thousands and thousands of people. It's the way it is with anything, right? Like if something doesn't work, but it's working for someone else, well, then the problem is you, not the system, right? And kindly, right? You said it nicely, but the problem is always them, because the system works. It works for thousands and thousands and thousands of people. And I get a lot of people say, like, well, you have to spam, or you have to promote products that you hate or whatever, but like that's also not true. So I would say if that's how you feel, you've either done something wrong, or more than likely you just haven't tried hard enough. Like usually those people are like, oh, I tried that for a week, and I'm like, I tried it for a year and got no results, right? Like if you expect results in the first few weeks, the first few months, or even the first year, don't expect them because there's just simply a lot of pieces to that online marketing puzzle, that you've got to understand.
Right. Or they got some bad advice from somebody, because there's a lot of that running around.
Yeah.
And so, maybe it's just, you need to take some time to educate yourself and make sure that you're buying programs from people that put their money where their mouth is, and know that, it actually worked for them, and they were doing it in an ethical way where they didn't feel like, they were scamming somebody or trying to just push crap just to get a sale type of a deal.
Yeah, no, exactly. Very true.
Yeah. So if you could recommend one book or one resource for somebody who is interested in affiliate marketing, what would you do? Where would you point them?
So I don't think I'd point them to a book.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's any been books that have like really impacted I would. So I'd put them to one book, 4-Hour Work Week. Really
that
big
one comes up a lot.
Yeah. So I would say read that book, because he talks a ton about, similar to kind of what I'm talking about, but he talks about how he's built systems to get down to a 4-hour work week. And then in terms of like genuine affiliate stuff, I don't know anyone that has a free course quite as detailed as mine. Like it's 25, 30 videos long of stuff. And it's not like fluffy stuff. Like it's always me and my screen right here, and I'm showing you like, hey, here's my business, like look inside of it. So I would say go to either my free course, or if you are like, hey, I am all in on affiliate marketing, my paid course has a lot of winning students as well.
And so over time, you've built, like, you don't have just one passive income stream, right? You have like a ton of passive income streams.
Yeah. The goal is 7. That someone told me like 8 years ago, 7 is what all millionaires have, and so that was always my goal.
Okay, that's cool. So obviously, affiliate marketing, right? That breaks into probably 3, right? So you have the YouTube channel, you've got the blog, you've got the email list, then your courses, right? That's another passive income, right? What else do you have hidden in there?
So I have a whole new hidden world. I don't know if you know, I have a channel called Wealth Hacks. It's a funny channel. So I built it like 4 years ago. I put up 8 videos, and then in the time that I was working on Buildapreneur, it blew up, and it has more subscribers than Buildapreneur.
Really?
Yeah. So that's like another channel. But then also what it talks about, like Buildapreneur is about like creating income, like creating a business basically, right? Or an affiliate business. This is about basically like secrets of the wealthy, right? Like how are the wealthy people turning money into more money? So that's one, and it talks about real estate. So I have real estate properties that people don't know about. Like I don't ever talk about this in Buildapreneur because it doesn't jive. I do Forex, which a lot of people don't know about, and we may talk about
Oh my gosh. Okay, I just gotta ask, have you plugged in a robot to Forex yet?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. So I use a Forex robot
Me
that
too.
is absolutely insane, and it's been awesome.
It's awesome. I'm actually there's gonna be a podcast just on Forex robots
Oh,
coming
really?
up. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. You should. Anyway, yeah. It's I should talk to you. We should talk robots one of these times. So this one launched like 2 weeks ago. The one that I'm using now, no, it launched 4 weeks ago. I've been using it now, and it's done. It's been doing like 8% a week. Like it's been blowing my mind.
That's awesome.
Anyway, so I
Mine's
got
a little
that.
more up and down. It'll do 20 and then it'll lose 10 and then it'll do
Oh, yeah.
15 and then it'll lose, so
It's pretty crazy to watch this. So, and people think it's a scam, but I've been watching it for 4 weeks now, and I've been doing this
yeah.
for a while now, and I'm like, it may be a scam eventually, but I'm going to break even in 6 months, and then there's no scam. Pull out my original funding, and no scam can hurt me at that point. So
That's exactly what I did. Took my original investment out and just let it ride.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, you should. That's pretty cool. Anyway, we'll have to talk about that sometime. But yeah, I do Forex, and then I do passively, like I do dividend stocks. So I have obviously not a full income through that yet, but those
but
are
they're awesome. Like there are so many stocks out there that people think that a dividend stock is like, you get 2% once a quarter. And I'm like, no, educate
like
yourself.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So those are kind of my three. So those are like kind of the two businesses that I have. And then each one of them is bringing in 3 or 4 different income streams. And so the goal is 7 full-time income streams, right? Only 2 of those 7 or 8 we just talked about are to the point where they're full-time income streams, but they're all right. The ship is rising.
Hey, you're a heck of a lot further than I am.
We're all at different places. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's okay. Cause that's the whole reason for this course. We're gonna the podcast, we're gonna do it together and we're gonna figure it out. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So I know you just dropped a ton of tips, but if you had to pick one best tip for someone looking to create passive income, what would you tell them?
So those 3 things that I talked about, those 3 sources, you've just got to focus on that. So I would say focus and consistency are what's going to build that passive income. So you're going to pick one of those traffic sources. I would say blogging or YouTube, like that, one of those 2. And then I would take my course, or if not, I would learn how to set up that back-end system of email automation and lead magnets and get all that running and built. And then you're going to have to spend a year creating content and mastering that platform, right? Like most people give YouTube a couple months and then they're like, this is hard, I'm not seeing success, and they're gone. Like you need to commit day one. Like I'm going to go for a year. I'm going to put out 50 or 100 YouTube videos, and I'm gonna each one is gonna be a little bit better, right? I'm gonna learn a little bit more, buy a YouTube course, watch YouTube videos on how to make good YouTube videos. Like each one will be a little bit better. And if you can do that for a year, 100 YouTube videos, and each one is a little bit better than the last one, you'll start to see some crazy, it only takes one video on YouTube, right? One video. I think one of my ClickFunnels videos was my first. Oh no, so my wealth hacks video was one of my first ones. But it was just one video and boom, it made 50 grand in 4 months or something like that. It just right, it took off at the right time. And if I had stopped at the first video or the 10th video, that never would have happened. So
I know that's what, when I first started the podcast, that's what they said, if you're gonna do this, commit, do not stop until you have 30 episodes. If you get to 30 episodes and you hate it, then stop. But until then, not allowed to stop.
Yeah, no, that sounds right. I don't do podcasting, but that sounds right.
Yeah. So, and it's all about focus and having the discipline to not have shiny object syndrome. Right.
Yeah.
So, I know, oh shoot, just lost my train of thought. What word? Yeah, it might come back, but it's gone right now. So any last parting comments?
Yeah, I just say if you're in it, be in it, right? Decide if this is for you, and then decide that you won't fail, and say I'm gonna, if it takes me a year, 5 years. To me, I would say even if it takes you 10 years, right? It took me 3 or 4, but if it takes you 10 years, well, who cares, right? Like the alternative is 40 years. So if you can do it in anything under 40 years, if you can get that passive income built, you've beat the status quo. You've beat 90% of everyone else, right? So, and honestly, that like it's impossible for you to do this for 30 years, getting better, applying what you're learning, putting out content, and not eventually get something going. Like it's impossible. It doesn't matter how bad you are at it. Like something will happen in 30 years. You will have one epiphany moment or one breakthrough, and it'll happen. So that's why I say, decide now you're going to do it. You don't care how long it takes.
That, without realizing it, that's what I was going to say, is that, people see, passive income stream, and they think that equates to not hard work, right? Or they think that it equates to easy and fast. And, that's so not true, because it's a ton of work to get it up and running. But then, once it does, so just baby steps every day, every day get a little bit better, every day learn a little bit more, every day perfect your skill just a little bit more, and you'll get there.
Yeah. And the people that succeed are those, that just kind of like you just talked about, baby steps. They learn something, they apply something, they learn, and they kind of just get in that cycle, and they never get down, because a lot of times you have huge down moments. You lose a YouTube channel with 5,000 subscribers or something, and they plow on. And those are the people that eventually make it. Like all the people at the top, they all went through their own personal hell to get there, right? None of them just kind of got this stuff from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, thank you so very much for the time. I sincerely appreciate it. So everybody listening, don't forget you can catch up with Spencer at buildapreneur.com. On Facebook, you want to check out Automation Nation. It is an awesome Facebook group full of tons of information. What's your YouTube channel?
Buildapreneur.
Okay, so Buildapreneur. And then in true Spencer fashion, if you guys want to support the podcast and you're interested in Spencer's stuff, if you head on over to my website, awesomeoutsourcing.com/resources, you will find affiliate links to Spencer's stuff. So thank you so very much, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Automate to Dominate podcast at www.awesomeoutsourcing.com/podcast. My name is Michelle Thompson. Hey guys, if you absolutely love this show, I would greatly appreciate it if you would head on over to iTunes, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star written review. That would be amazing. And as always, if you guys know somebody who should be listening to this podcast, please don't keep it all to yourself. Share it with your friends.